Go ahead for Pledge of Allegiance, and then we have to start it from the front.
Good evening. I'd like to call tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals meeting into order. Please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So just like to review the minutes from October 2022, November 2022, and June 2024. Secretary?
So those were all sent on July 3rd for review. So as long as the individual board members got a chance to review them, we can go.
Okay, great. So do a roll call.
Make a motion to approve them.
Like to make a motion to approve the minutes for October 2022, November 2022, and June 2024. Can I have a roll call? Second.
All in favor? Linda?
What?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Phil's aye, you're good.
Who's second?
Linda?
All right, so moving to the public hearing, first item on the agenda is jet management, an area variance for 2561 Route 55. The applicant is seeking an area variance to convert commercial multi-use apartment living space. Section 155, Attachment 2, Schedule B requires a minimum area of interior living space of 800 square foot. Apartment A proposed 634 square foot, apartment B is 486 square feet, and apartment C is 655 square feet. The applicant is seeking relief from this area and bulk requirement with a positive referral from the planning board. All right, so.
Good evening, everybody. My name is William Basharat. I'm representing Jet Management. This is the owner, Mr. James Trainer. As you just explained, we are here. We were in front of the planning board a couple of weeks ago, seeking a special use permit, which is, the existence of multifamily in that zone is allowed with a special use permit. And we meet all requirements for zoning area variance, setbacks, lot coverage, etc., etc. The only thing we lack in, which is a town code requirement, is apartment has to be 800 square feet, which you wish that most apartments are that big. They're not. So one of those apartments is already existing, and the other two spaces are, they commercial basically, but they've been sitting for a couple of years. I'm sure you're familiar with the building, and it's been sitting, and it's becoming really a hardship. So therefore, we decided to go to the planning board and change them to apartments. Like I said, we meet all requirements of planning. The only thing we don't meet is the size of the apartments. The apartments as they exist, they're very nice size. Very comfortable for one-bedroom apartment, etc., etc., but they don't meet the 800 square foot required by the town. In this case, it's slightly different than the criteria that have to be met for a area variance. There is no additional land. Even if we purchase additional land, it will not make the variance go away. We cannot locate it anywhere else where it will not need the variance. We don't create any negative impact on the neighborhood by granting this. We are really compatible with the neighborhood. The majority of buildings have apartments in them in the area or residential. So we meet all the 5 criteria for zoning. The only thing we don't meet is the 800 square foot requirement from the town zoning code.
So, can I just clarify one thing? You mentioned there's currently one apartment there?
Correct.
And there's one apartment and there were 2 commercial spaces?
Yes, the 2 commercials in the front of the building.
I see.
Okay, those that facing the street. The one in the back, it's an apartment. It's legally existed for a long, long time.
Apartment A.
Exactly.
Got it, okay. And then, so you're looking to convert the two front spaces?
The two front spaces,
Into two additional apartments? Understood. Okay. So if I could take you through the criteria in your application and just have you walk us through, why you're requesting this variance. So if we could start with the first criteria, and if you could just take us through
Okay, the
those.
first criteria, I tried to cover them in general, but I can go through them in specific, is will an undesirable change be produced by the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby property created? And the answer is no. Many buildings in the area, including the building adjacent right next door to the site, has apartments with substandard square footage. The item number 2, can the desired results be achieved by some other means by granting the variance? The answer is no. The spaces for the apartments already exist, and we're not proposing any construction or additions to the property to modify that. Number 3, is the variance substantial? It is not really substantial per se because we are not creating an apartment that is substandard. It's going to be like New York City type of apartment, let's put it that way. There's plenty of room. The bedroom is large, the living room is large, there's a kitchen, there's a full bathroom, the whole entire, will the variance, that's number 4, have an adverse effect or of impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighbor or district? The answer is no, because we are not proposing any construction to take place, so therefore there's no impact onto the neighborhood and the there's no environmental impact on the neighborhood. Is the alleged hardship self-created? The answer is no. The square footage of the apartments are existing. It's not like we are building the apartments, but we want to build them substandard. No, they are existing, so it's not really not created, it's there that way.
Questions from the board?
All right, any questions from the board?
Do we open to the public first?
Yeah, I just want to point out that this is a pending planning board application.
It's before the planning board.
It's before the planning board, and they deemed it a type 2 application.
Okay.
Under seeker.
Got it.
Yes, so we open up the.
Okay,
Make
so-
a motion to open the floor.
Make a motion to open up to public comment?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so if anyone from the public would like to say anything regarding this space, welcome you to come up to speak. Seeing no one approach,
Motion to close?
motion to close public comment?
Aye, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're
All
good
right.
across the board.
All right.
All right, now it's board's questions.
Any questions from?
Linda?
I just have one. How big is your septic tank?
The septic tank is 1,000 square feet, 1250.
Okay.
1250. With the septic system is in compliance, we have a lot more than we need. Parking,
Yeah.
we have a lot more than we need. So like I said, we meet all criterias, but we are right now, from the planning board, one first step is to make sure that we are in compliance with the 800 square foot rule. But everything else, including the health department approval, is in hand.
And the fields that are behind the
In the
apartment?
back of the building, yes.
And how deep is the well? Just wondering.
The well, I don't know, you know how deep the well
I mean,
is?
how you,
The depth of it, no, we know where it is, but we don't.
only because you're gonna have more people using the well.
Yes, it's really like the 3-bedroom house, it's 1-bedroom apartment, each one of them. And, this becomes a multifamily, so therefore we have to deal with the health department about monitoring the well and the chlorinating the water and everything
Okay.
else. So, there's like things that not related to this, but we will be dealing with them through the planning board process.
So the layout of the floor plan is pretty much that way because that's how the building was already existed?
Correct,
Right,
yes.
with the businesses and the one apartment?
Yeah,
It's not like one wall was put up to make that small apartment?
no,
Okay,
that's, I think, a demising wall too.
yeah.
What's the square footage aggregate?
The what?
The aggregate square footage of the 3?
The aggregate square footage, I put it down on the application,
That was-
it's a
yeah.
610, 16, 18. It's about almost 1,900 square foot for the entire building.
Number 3, you put 2010.
Oh, yeah, but I'm sorry for the apartment, there's mechanical and storage rooms too added to it.
Okay, that does get added. So 2010,
10.
added 2,400 for your consideration.
In terms of the way the space is laid out now, what's separating where you have apartment B and apartment C right now, in terms of inside the space? What's there?
It's a concrete block wall.
Okay.
Concrete block wall. That's why I said it's a demising wall. All, the apartments, the 3 of them are separated from one another with concrete block walls. The existing one, and the ones that are, the 2 front ones.
Yes. So the mechanical room would be here adjacent to A and C, and that square footage is considered? Yes.
So does he need any other variances, or just the?
Just one variance
the
for your consideration.
Yeah, the one variance covers all of them, right?
Yeah.
All right. Was there any consideration to making it 2 apartments and being within the code and not having to go for the
This
variance?
is the problem. If we do that, the building itself is really not that cheap to run. And, it's been a burden on Mr. Trainer for the duration, and having 2 apartments will not cover even the expenses of the building. Between taxes and mortgage and insurance and what have you, it will not cover, if having 2 apartments will create a negative impact on the owner and a hardship on the owner to do so.
Trying to think, what other questions we have here, guys?
This is a unique feature of the town center zoning. And it's
The minimum of
the
square
minimum
footage?
square footage.
Oh, I see.
All right, so it's not throughout the town. It's unique to the town center itself,
That section of 55.
that section.
So
Yeah.
other than the town center, there is no minimum?
No,
Really?
Well, that changes things.
it's,
It's already metered for 3 different sections of the building?
Yes.
All right, so the smallest apartment, we have a total 486.
Which, by the way above the requirement by New York State Building Code.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's extremely common up here, it'd be Westchester down, it's extremely common. Up here, it's
Yes.
still.
I live up here, so, I live in
Yeah.
Putnam, but,
Yeah,
we have the luxury of spaciousness.
yes, and that's the whole thing up here. I mean, they presented their case pretty well. I don't think I have many more questions. I'm still stuck on that apartment.
So tonight, we don't have a full board. Two
Okay.
of our board members are not present this evening. If you,
They have a right to be heard by a full board,
right,
because tonight, we would have to be unanimous to have it approved.
Uh-huh.
Just one would deny it.
Can I do a straw vote?
so the reason why I mentioned that is because if you wanted to seek an adjournment and have it heard by the full board, you could do that. And then, or we could vote on it and, if we don't all agree, then it
Yeah,
would.
well, that's why I asked if it's possible to have a straw vote.
No, I-
So, he can do a straw
He can.
vote. Yes. So,
I mean, we prefer if we can wrap it up tonight, would be
yes, I
great.
know. Now, is there criteria to how we bring the straw vote in? Does it have to be,
well, I mean, what are you thinking? Well, you guys can, if you're thinking you're in support, you can say it. If you're thinking you're not, it's part of the straw.
well,
I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time with the small apartment for the area, but what it is, and like
But
Craig
it's already
said,
there.
it's unique to that area.
Right, but it was a
Yes,
commercial
Yeah,
space. I mean,
It's, he's not,
If
he's
it was
just
in
adding
any
the
other
wall.
part of the town,
Yeah,
it would be fine, but
yeah, I'm,
there's a natural break in the
That wall is existent, the separating wall is
absolutely.
existing.
is that a weight-bearing wall?
Gotta
It's
be.
concrete, I'm assuming it is load bearing,
Well,
but
it's-
also the fire separation between the
Right.
two
it
units.
is a one-level structure.
Yes, it's one level structure,
So
yes.
it's not supporting,
It's supporting the roof above there, but I don't know exactly, we did not go specifically into the structural elements of the building.
To me,
All right.
if you're getting something totally different, but if you're giving sparrow's nest, the reef, how many acres?
yeah, but so what we're talking about is living space, that's the difference. So if we're talking about only having 400 square foot to live in as opposed to being able to put a building up on the right size lot. right?
Yeah.
So they're not quite apples and apples,
I-
but,
I know.
so hang on. What I'm getting at here is they are working with the TC Center zoning, and that poses a problem to them already. The building already exists and is subdivided the way, they didn't alter it to end up with this way. The planning board, which they're before right now, has already given them a positive review on this requirement. So it's really just me getting over this spot, and, you know, before, when I drove by the property and gave it consideration, I would have been more inclined to say no. But because of the uniqueness of this and the planning board having given a positive referral, you know, what's your thoughts on this?
I have a question. real quick.
Yep.
I mean, it's none of my business actually, but what is the rental for, like, the smallest apartment?
Right.
He wants to maximize how much he's getting.
Like, are we talking?
They probably will be
This is
the
not
same,
even
the
500
same,
square foot apartment.
the rental is considered as one bedroom apartment. Okay, mostly a single person will be living in there. It's, the size difference of 50 to 100 square foot between one apartment is not gonna vary in the rental. What is the
You
existing
know, and
apartment?
it is, right on 55.
1,500, so that will be roughly where the average, yeah.
So
That's the biggest apartment in there. So we're talking about between 12 to 1,500 per unit will be, and, you know, Mr. Trina has kept that building from being dilapidated, cuts the grass all the time, maintain it in good shape. It was a junkyard before.
Best chance they have.
He cleaned up so much,
I know what it
dumpsters
was.
went out of there.
Yeah,
And, you know, he
definitely
maintains it, he would like to keep it, and eventually, hopefully, it's in the center of town, to renovate it, maybe put an addition on it and make it, you know,
Is this-
more
is this-
money producing building.
Well, obviously the heat must be electric, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is.
So that then is also on the tenant, correct?
Yes.
So, wow, that's, just wondering.
so after discussing a little bit, I think you'd have a better opportunity to represent this
Okay.
to the full.
So may I ask for an adjournment till next meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So,
Month, you mean next week or next month?
next month,
week.
next month's
next
meeting.
meeting.
Now, we adjourn it, he doesn't have to re-advertise, correct?
No. You have to keep the public hearing open.
We'll
that's
keep,
all.
yes, keep it open. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to keep the public hearing open and adjourn this to the next meeting.
When is that next meeting? It's gonna be, you're gonna have, yeah, we're gonna have to put it on for September 3.
So we won't have a full board then,
On the 3rd?
on September 3rd.
Yeah, but
Who's not here?
I won't be here.
September, yeah, September 3rd would be the
Or
next.
could we put it on to the October meeting? No. You could vote on September 3rd to vote it
Yeah.
on.
so make your,
Okay.
Put it to September
So,
3rd.
okay,
yes.
so make a motion to keep the public hearing open and adjourn this to September 3rd.
Second?
Second?
Yep.
All right, roll call vote,
Yep.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Guys, thank you very much. You did
Thank
a
you for
great
your
job
time.
presenting
Thank
it.
you.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's just understood.
Okay, so, second item on the agenda is Ponzini Sue, new residence, seeking an area variance, 55 Schoolhouse Lane. Applicant is seeking an area variance to build a new residence. Section 155, Attachment 2, Schedule B requires 75-foot front yard setback. The applicant is proposing a 40-foot setback and requesting a variance for the 35-foot balance. So, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm Jared Ponzini. We're in contract to buy the lot from the current owners. This is my wife Jennifer.
How you doing?
So as you stated, we're requesting a variance for the front setback to be 40 feet, and the current code is 75 feet.
Okay.
We're asking that to provide a bigger backyard, and also be further away from Sylvan Lake Road, which is a busier road in the area, and to also conform with the neighborhood a bit better, because 11 Schoolhouse and 37 Schoolhouse are closer to the road. They're like between 13 and 30 feet off the road, so I think we fit in a little better with the neighborhood at that 40-foot setback.
Got it. Okay. So if you would take us through the,
Sure. Yeah, so the first undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood. Will not cause any undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood as determined to the nearby properties will not be created, a detriment to the nearby properties will not be created. The home will appear on a similar setback on Schoolhouse Lane as nearby properties. Number 2, can the desired result be achieved by some other means than granting the variance? It cannot be achieved by any other means. Number 3, is the variance substantial? We do not believe it is. Number 4, will the variance have an adverse effect of impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district? The variance will not have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. The property has been approved by the Dutchess County Department of Health for a well and septic. Number 5, is the alleged hardship self-created? The need for the variance was not self-created, as a lot was created prior to the current zoning in the area.
is there anything else you wanted to share with us just before we open it to public comment?
Current owner? Yeah, so the current owners did have the variance in place for a 50-foot setback.
Yes.
We didn't know if that carries over because we changed the layout of the house, or if that would carry over. So I'm not sure how that works, but they did have a variance in place.
So there's currently a variance for a
Well,
50-foot setback?
they're seeking a different variance.
Right.
Whichever.
But is it a 10-foot difference, or is it the full, back
what
to the
they're asking
full?
for.
No, it's a 30-foot, 35-foot variance.
So the fact that there's already a variance to 50-foot doesn't,
It has no bearing on.
on,
Right, new application.
Yeah, it is a new
so if they
application.
wanted
Okay.
to go to, like 1 foot more than what it is now, it would basically be
It's the same
reconsidering the whole.
Yeah, it's the same
Got it.
consideration, same criteria.
Understood.
It appears to be an approved septic system which defines where the house has to be.
Got it. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to open this to public comment.
Second?
Roll
Roll
call.
call vote?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Sir, you want to,
I live at 37
please,
next door. I just came in because
Why don't you come up?
please approach.
Come right up to the mic, tell us who you are.
I live next door, 37, and I just want to know what's going on. I don't really have a problem with the changing the footage from the road. The only thing that I did hear, I'm not sure if you guys bought it already, but I always heard there was a water problem in there. Anytime it rains, I always see a foot of water in there. So I just wanted to know where the house is gonna be.
Just
and where the
standing
septic's
water.
gonna be.
Okay.
Just for, for them and for me, and I just wanted to know if you're gonna move to more towards my house or more towards up the hill.
Got it.
The house. What are the plans?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, take a minute, show 'em.
It's right up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
fine, already.
Let him show
No,
him.
we're in contract, in contract.
Yeah, 'cause, I don't know if you guys were over there, but there's usually a lot of water in there. I'm at
The only
37.
thing that matters is where the septic's
is,
going, right? Like, in terms of drainage.
Oh, so you're going up the hill.
Consideration, the septic system.
You know the original footprint?
Where the house has to be.
Right, no, I guess. Well, they already have water.
I'm here.
Okay, so the house is.
Is that what the cutout is right now with the wood chips?
Well, given how much it slopes down in the back, all you'd have to do is put a pipe in if you really had any water.
Well, generally,
Okay.
once they start clearing.
As long as it's approved.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you were trying to move it either up there, because it's on the hill, or over here. Because it does get water, you know, this is a hill over here. And, something like that, how much it's all absorbed. And the rest-
So the house is gonna be close to the middle of
Oh,
the.
467? Oh, 167.
That's the thing about the house?
You wanted more
This is the
back there.
septic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, my house up.
The house
Just
is
up the road.
Exactly, so we're trying to stay.
this over here? That's not the septic?
That doesn't-
That's the septic, and the house will go here, right?
I mean, they run into a problem with the
Like
hillside.
I said, back on this road, there's a lot of wood in there.
There is.
So is it, this is the high point of the property?
Yes, everything's sloping to the front. But that's not going to be grading to change if it needed to be, right? So, but what the question is, what's this here?
I think this is the grade going away.
Currently? Okay. It's precipitous drop. Thank you.
Okay,
Two things. We're just gonna need you to sign the sign-in sheet back there, so we know that you got up to speak, right? It should be on the back table. Thank you so much for your comments, I appreciate that. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of this, application?
It's not gonna get-
he's not gonna have water.
I think we're good. Ready to close the?
Yes, so I'm gonna make a motion to close public comment. Roll call.
Second.
Aye.
Seconded it, and aye. We got it. We got through it.
We got it.
All right,
Okay.
now it's up to
right,
board
so-
discussion and, questions.
Any questions from board?
No, I'm pretty good with,
So you're just getting for consideration, there'll be a 35-foot variance, where
To the front.
75 is required,
Right.
40 is proposed.
So I did have one question. So the plan that you shared with us was for the first floor, which I take it, I mean, looking at the elevation, that's the top level? When we say the first floor, the plan that you shared with us, that's the top level of the house?
Correct.
Okay.
It's a raised ranch.
Got it. So now, you didn't share with us what is happening below. Is there a garage underneath?
There is, two-car garage.
Two-car garage? Okay, got it. And the other space, other than the two-car garage, just basement space?
Yes, correct.
Okay, got it.
Pretty much a raised ranch.
yeah, we weren't sure. We were looking at that one, trying to figure, okay, usually there is a garage here, and we got nothing.
It's on the side of the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you asked everything, you know, we were considering. So, the variance, you have, the need is 75 in that zoning, 75 feet to the front. You have 40, and you're looking for 35 for the variance, is that correct?
Yes, the variance will be for 35.
Okay. And then, if I remember correctly, going down that road, most of the houses on that road are right on the road as you enter the road, and it's not till you get way deep on Maple where the lots are bigger and set farther back, right?
No, some of them are set way back in the beginning of the road, some are very close to the middle, some are set back again. I mean,
Well, but that's a very narrow lot.
that's a narrow lot. I mean, the house right next door.
There's
is
really
a great
nowhere
one.
else to put the
I mean,
house.
it's definitely not the
Really?
most, it's not the closest to the road
No.
with that variance by any means. All right, I'm good.
Is the site where you have the house situated, I'm looking at kind of the elevation lines,
Sure.
Is that does it pretty much slope away from that point?
In one corner, it goes up a little bit. in
Oh, it goes up a little bit
Yep.
in the back? Okay.
Exactly.
And then, but right behind there, it slopes down dramatically. Is that
Behind the
right?
house, like the rear of the house, you mean?
Right.
I think it's pretty level.
So Sylvan Lake is up here and the lot
Yeah.
is down here, like
So
schoolhouse is
Sylvan
down
Lake.
here.
Okay.
Around Sylvan Lake, you're looking down into the property.
Oh, so actually, it kind of goes up a hill behind you?
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, it's Sharp Hill, it's like,
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
yeah,
Got it, okay.
yeah.
Well, they put in the curtains right here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The grading, because of where the septic was pre-approved for, the house has to be built right where it's set at. And, when the contractors come in and grade for a grade, all that'll be taken care of. Your drainage behind the house, your drainage up in front of the house, everything to the road.
Yep.
That's all, our big concern, besides, planning board having approved plans, is the septic being approved and, the variances for consideration. So, answered everything I need to answer.
Okay, so I guess here they say 40 foot, but they need 35.
They need 35, so they have.
They need
We're gonna vote-
35 feet for
We're going to vote
variance.
on a 35-foot variance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to vote on a 35-foot front setback variance for, as requested, for Ponzini Sue, 55 Schoolhouse Lane, grid number 6559-00-673206.
Second?
Aye.
Roll call vote?
Linda?
Yes, aye.
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 So this passes?
Passes 3-0.
Yep. And they can pick anything they need up from Jess's office.
Yes,
Give her a couple days.
yeah.
Oh, we have to do the letter, right?
Let's get the decision.
Okay, so you'll receive a written decision from the board, and then, but obviously you have the vote tonight. It passed, so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
They have to own it first.
Okay.
That was good about the project, I forgot about it.
Well, that's what I was, yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that was the only thing because it makes a lot of sense if there's a garage down there. If there wasn't, then
Yeah.
it'd be like, what's happening?
What's going on?
But you can kind of get a feel from who came.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to the third item on the agenda, this is the Heckman Addition, 9 Maple Road. The applicant is seeking an area variance to build an addition. Section 155-22, Attachment 2, Schedule B requires a minimum 20-foot side yard setback. The applicant is proposing 16-foot 2 inches on the east side and requesting a variance for the remaining 3-foot 10 inches. The applicant is also proposing a 13-foot 7-inch setback on the west side and requesting a variance for the remaining 6-foot 5 inches. A minimum front yard setback of 50 foot is required. The applicant is proposing plus or minus 20 feet and requesting a variance for the remaining 30 feet. Maximum lot coverage is 10%. Existing lot coverage is 11.5%. The applicant is proposing 16.5% lot coverage. Existing minimum lot area and lot width are non-conforming. Evening.
Good evening, I'm Steve Whalen of Whalen Architecture, representing Michael Heckman, owner of the property. Just to elaborate a little bit more, the reason that we're here tonight, we're looking for, we're proposing 2 additions to the house, one on the east side and one on the west side. On the east side is to extend the existing family room. Right now it's really, really small. And the same with the garage on the west side. As you can see, the existing, where the house currently exists, it's outside of the buildable area. I mean, we're outside of all 4 setbacks. And that's why, we can't go any direction without requiring a variance. That's pretty much the main reason why we're here tonight.
Okay. Going through the-
All right, so if you could just take us through the criteria for the area variance and just walk us through those,
5 questions.
starting with number 1.
Sure. So will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties be created by granting the variance? And we're saying no because the new additions, the style of the new additions is going to match the existing residence. Can the desired result be achieved by some other means than granting a variance? Again, we're saying no, since the existing house is outside of the buildable area. We need a variance for any direction that we go. Is the variance substantial? To this one I said no, because if it was within the buildable area, it would only be a few feet left side and right side. But because it's within the front yard setback, I guess it could be argued that it is substantial. But again, any direction we go, we're going to need a variance. Number 4, will the variance have an adverse effect of impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district? And it's kind of like the same answer to number 1. It's not going to have an adverse effect. It's going to match the design of the existing house. And then number 5, is the hardship self-created? Yes, because we're looking to expand the existing house. But even with like the garage, like right now the garage, you cannot get even like a standard size vehicle in there. A lawnmower, sure, but a standard size vehicle, not at all. And the family room on the east side, yeah, it's pretty tight in there.
Okay.
I did go and see this property. And he's correct.
Okay, so thank you for that. So, like to make a motion to open this up for public comment.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so if anyone from the public would like to say anything regarding this application? Seeing no one approach, I'm going to make a motion to close public comment.
Second. Aye.
Aye. Okay. So any questions from the board?
Yeah, I believe this one, we've had some concerns, and I'm going to lean on council on this one. What was the year that home was built, do we know? 1935. So it's before zoning laws existed. And we've had this question brought up a million times, because in the regulations of 155-58 for the town, consider a non-conforming buildings, lots, and uses, which is anything that was built before the zoning laws. There's language that pretty much tells us, before I go into reading and try to find exactly the right word so we can all check it, pretty much tells us that if there's already a pre-existing non-conforming home, you can build up, but you can't expand the footprint, front, back, sideways. And I know we've run into this before, and I'm gonna lean on council to help me through this one.
Well, they can build
Upward.
they can build up, and they can build anywhere that it's as long as it's conforming to the present
Laws.
zoning dimensions.
But as far as needing the variance, taking a non-conforming and continuing that non-conforming,
Well,
they could or couldn't.
They can't make it more non-conforming,
So,
and that's what is happening in this addition here. On the side setbacks, it's becoming more of a non-conforming use. But it appears you could go into the rear.
Those houses, I'm telling
The rear
you.
is,
The rear is the porch area.
the rear's 35 yards.
Off the back of the house. I want to. So that would be, just to reverse, that's where the lawn room will be right now. And then the reverse gate will go out below, just to give it a coverage for the shade from the back of the house.
okay.
That doesn't help us on the west side of the garage.
No, the garage is too small. I've been there. There's no way you can fit a car in that garage.
Yeah, I know, but the problem we're having is the zoning law and the it makes a really weird law, and it affects non-conforming, already non-conforming, making it even more non-conforming.
So my understanding, and counsel, please guide me if I'm, is that we actually can't vote to give a variance to enlarge a pre-existing non-conforming beyond the size of its current footprint. We wouldn't have the authority to do that.
You don't for the side setbacks in this example, but you do for the rear because the rear yard setback is 35 feet. And it appears there's plenty of room and you go.
I see. So
into the rear.
So if we were just considering that
66
one
feet.
little piece of the proposed enlargement that was just the part that would take the house backwards, we could
As
consider.
long as the shaded area was shade.
Well, but only the shaded area that is behind the existing footprint?
That's correct.
That could go. They could continue
Square it
that.
You
off.
can continue.
Yes.
as-
And on both sides, right?
On both, yeah, it appears on both sides.
On both sides.
What do you-
So, again, the board is bound by what the town code allows us to consider. And right now, the town code specifies that for existing non-conforming structures, so structures that were built prior to zoning, what we can consider is any modification that either brings it more into compliance with zoning or that does not extend it out more into outside of what is currently zoned. So, looking at what you have laid out here, if you took the footprint of the house, you could take those two corners on the back and go out toward the back of the property, consistent with what you have there, and we could consider that. But we couldn't consider enlarging the variance on the sides currently based on what the town code has laid out. Because you're taking a home that's already outside of the existing variances, and you want to go even further outside of those variances. So the board actually doesn't have the authority.
Yep, yeah, I was just making a note of something I see. The septic tank, how far off the house is that?
It's close, right?
Yeah, it's, because I'm trying to see if they went square back, not out at all, where they would be before they're infringing on that septic tank as a problem, because that's a whole Board of Health issue too.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to see where.
Yeah, I can see, I see exactly what you're thinking now.
If I can ask a couple questions.
Sure, yes.
With the non-conforming, this being a non-conforming lot, is there a board that we can present to kind of like override this? Because he's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like he's in a pinch with
So
that
I just
garage.
want to mention, there's currently, if I understand correctly, there would be no issue going vertically, right? So if you wanted to build up, you could build up, and it wouldn't, do I understand?
But
That's
he-
correct.
But he's doing
Yeah.
it specifically
You
to.
stay within the current footprint under the current zoning law. You
But
could go to
No,
the
I'm
town
just-
board and
He doesn't want
ask
to go
them
up. He
to
wants
change the law.
to take a room and make it bigger.
Yeah, but that can take
I mean, it,
months and then, because I mean, it was my understanding that's what the variances were in place for. I mean, I understand there's a law about like, pre-existing. It's kind of like he's getting screwed on something that he had no control over.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we've run into this, it doesn't happen very often, but we have run into it. And, it's one of those things, like it or hate it, and we've run into more hating it than liking it. But it's the code they have until somebody, goes through, gets it changed and gets it out of there. It's one of the ones we still have to abide by. So I understand the frustration, I
Yeah,
totally do.
It's really
Sure.
unfair.
Yeah,
Because
listen.
there's,
Yep.
it's not like he did anything, it's not like he moved his house forward.
No, absolutely. We'd also, even if we get past that consideration, we know how tight the houses are on that. that road going side to side. There is a whole, there's no way you're the oldest house there, are you?
I'm the second house. I'm the second house on the block.
Yeah, you were the second house built there?
I mean, the oldest, the second.
Really?
I think it's the second, yeah.
Wow, some of them looked older. But,
Well, they look old, but we can see the shakes on the house, the box got sheet shakes.
yeah, but they're so tight that even if that was there, I'm not gonna say that we wouldn't, go for a variance. I'm just saying we're making it even tighter to your neighbors, which is real consideration. But we really are working with the parameters of a law that hamstrings us as much as it does you. And it's one for, I don't know if it's the planning board, the building inspector, or where we go with this one, because this one's been questioned.
You can only go to the legislature. If you look at the left side yard of your present home, it actually meets setback of 20 feet. It's 21.6.
I mean, we could come out, I mean, legally, we could come out another 18 inches, but that's definitely not gonna help with the
Doesn't do
garage.
anything, yeah.
And I completely understand going vertically, again, not gonna help the garage.
Right, yeah.
No, this is something where the ZBA is handcuffed.
But there's gotta be, I'm not meaning to
No,
disregard what
it's
you guys are
okay,
saying,
listen.
but, I went there,
Sure.
and those houses are close together, and if a neighbor's not fighting it, because my house is right next to another, that's what happened in the town of Beekman, they were all whole houses.
All right, so
You know,
now,
so, but it shouldn't be that when you buy a house, you shouldn't have to say, oh, shoot, if I ever want to add on to this, should I not buy it? Because I don't know if it's not going to conform to the,
but
I mean,
actually, when you buy.
can't live
you're-
like that.
Yeah, but when you buy, you are supposed to do those things. It's not anybody else's
Well, I
responsibility.
didn't.
I know, but so now here we are though. The house you have is the same as mine. It's that old. If I go, I'm struck by that same regulation. I mean, my house was built 5 foot to the property line. You know, there's no wiggle room, even though I have it on the other side.
but he does have some wiggle room.
Not with this
Not a whole-
155, 58 regulation, and we're stuck, we're handcuffed because we can only go within, given variances.
We don't have
within
the authority.
Yeah,
No, but who would be able to help him
Well,
if he
that's
needs
what-
to get that changed?
You know, the left side is legal at the moment.
Yeah, that's a really small garage. It's not even like a standard size garage door, it's like this.
You can't fit a car in that garage.
right, and I understand that
If
totally.
you get a car in there, you can't get out of it.
Well, you can't get in the car.
Yeah, that defeats the purpose.
So, yeah, we're pretty much, it's not something we can vote on because of that law, and if we do, we're still, I don't know, I'm not sure how to
It's
proceed
attached
there.
garage, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure how to
Attached
proceed.
one, well, 3/4 car garage.
There is another way around. You could always flip them if you really had to. Put the garage where the sunroom is and flip it. If need be. Because the sunroom was bigger than the garage, was wider.
And then would the building department allow another curb cut?
What?
And then we got to move the driveway to the other side of the house.
Right, that's how-
And they got
yes.
2 curb cuts on one property.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we'd have to get a right of way, stuff from the highway department.
Hey,
Yeah, there's a,
So is there anyone, I mean, you guys recommend, is there someone we can talk to further about this? There's planning board or?
Barring legislative change, no.
yeah, I don't even know, can we vote on it with that?
There's nothing we can,
Yeah,
Nothing we can do.
because it's not an application
It
with
says
with
it.
that.
I encourage you to look at 155-58G2.
I think we're gonna know exactly what it says.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything that helps. This
There's
application.
no exceptions in there? I mean, that's like it.
I'm looking.
does a grandfather clause anywhere?
No, that's actually where the problem comes in, homes
Because
that
it's
were
not
built
grand.
before the zoning
So
rules.
on the right-hand side, you already have a non-conforming side setback of 17.8. You're proposing 13.7, you need 20. And it says that the non-conforming use of a structure may be continued, subject to the following restrictions. Enlarging or extending structure, such structure shall not be enlarged or extended beyond the present structure. The word "shall" is mandatory.
Yeah.
So, obviously, as a board, the fact that our hands are tied on this is very unhelpful for us, because the idea of the board is that we're here to consider things and to be able to, grant these variances. So, obviously, from my point of view, the way that the code is currently written, it doesn't allow us to do our job. So I'm sorry that that's the case. If there is some way, going back to a little bit the discussion before, to kind of rethink the way the space is used in light of, the fact that, you could go backwards on the footprint for those corners, and if you used the other side, kind of switched it, would that achieve the objective that you're trying to accomplish? I know that's not helpful, to what you were proposing, but, if you're adding, on either side to the square foot to the plan, could rethinking how the space is used achieve, a similar objective, and maybe go back on the footprint on those two corners?
No, I don't see that possible, to be honest with you.
Is there any way of getting a detached garage behind the house? Is that, I'm just looking
I
at,
don't know if that would be like, I have really good neighbors, and I think put another structure on the property, on a small piece of property like that, say, oh, I have a detached garage, and I think that wouldn't be fair.
yeah, I understand.
Another garage on the property.
Yeah.
Well, does that law mention anything about like accessory structures?
I bet it does, being, it's a long chapter.
Well, another structure would be just variances. if
Well,
they-
unless it's conforming, as long as it
Right.
conforms to
Right.
today's laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not,
You still need conformance.
You need to conform, right. Or you could get a variance, but it might be a different, would a new structure be,
There's no
could
room.
we consider variances on a new structure?
Yeah, as long as it meets the bulk area restrictions.
Okay. So unfortunately, this is a perfect example. Our hands are really tied on the existing structure because it's non-conforming as it sits now. If you wanted to build a new structure, let's say behind the house, a garage, then that we could consider there was a need for variances, but we couldn't consider an enlargement to the left and right side to the existing structure.
And last question I've got for you guys, does it mention anything there about like, if we were to take like that garage off the house?
You could reduce the footprint of the house.
Reduce it and then do like in its footprint, do like a detached garage? I mean, if that's deep in that section of the code, I can read through it.
Yeah, I'll give you the code.
Actually makes more sense.
this side.
I would do that.
Yeah, and then over here, click that. Something in here detached.
Steve, you can have this statute. You never know.
Yeah, sorry,
I-
at this point, we, really can't do anything to help the cause or even give you a good direction. It's not even something we can vote on the application.
Okay, for what it's worth, I mean, when does like the zoning code come up for like renewal, or when is it voted on? Because I really want to, we had no idea about this.
Yep,
And it sounds like the law is backwards.
it
It
is.
sounds like it should be grandfathered in, not to say that you can do whatever the hell you want,
Right.
but, at
There has to
least,
be consideration.
You're in a pre-existing non-conforming situation, you should be allowed to at least make it a little bit better,
Right,
within reason.
yep.
So that's like a yearly thing, and I'd like to
That
voice
will-
my opinion.
That code revision will be subject to public comment as well.
Okay.
So, public comment from professionals like yourself is appreciated.
Yeah, we've been talking about going through that for a while now, and I'm gonna put down a note again to say, at some point we have to go through this language and clean some of it up and see what applies anymore and what doesn't, so.
Okay.
I appreciate it, guys. Again, apologize, we can't do nothing
Well,
to,
we'll rethink it,
Get
we'll do
started.
that, rework something.
all right, thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, John. All right. Okay, and the final item, motion to close that,
Got it.
that item.
Second, aye.
Aye. Okay, and the final item.
There's no action that's going to be taken.
No action, right. The final item on the agenda is the Freno Garage. It's 137 Andrews Road. The applicant is seeking an area variance for a detached garage. Section 155-26A, sub 1, sub D1 states that the accessory structure shall not exceed 25% of the principal structure in bulk, which is 2,280 square feet. Therefore, the maximum size of the accessory structure cannot exceed 570 square feet, as the proposed structure is 1,296 square feet. That's a 56% larger than the maximum size. The applicant is seeking variance for relief from this bulk requirement. Good evening. So if you would please take us through, on my copy, I'm sorry. So I think what my understanding is that you are actually still preparing your filing for this.
Yeah, so I have the original survey,
Got it.
but I was told now you need a recent one with the
Yes,
little garages,
Yes.
shed, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
to be on there.
right.
So I found an engineer that's going to help me give you a site plan,
Great.
and so that's what.
You're working on putting that together.
He's working on that
Okay.
now, he's just got back from vacation,
Got it. Okay.
so.
So,
But they said to go through everything today with you, and
Yes.
then,
absolutely. So you're working on putting together that site plan?
the site plan.
And
That's the last thing that's left.
so I'm going to make a motion to
Let's
keep.
talk about
I'm sorry.
when a realistic timeframe for submission of the application. The deadline for submission for next month is when? 15th of August? So that takes us into the October meeting.
Right. So the deadline to submit for the next meeting coming up, September 2nd or 3rd, would be the 15th, so 9 days. So you probably need a little bit more than that.
We'll have it before.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
you think you'll have everything ready in 9 days?
site plan is the only thing that's left.
I see.
You have everything else.
Well, so looking at your application, I see the area variance criteria is not filled out. I don't know if you had a chance to fill that out.
No. What do you
Oh,
think?
see attached, or,
I wrote a 2-page response.
oh, okay, I
I
see.
was told to be thorough, and
Got it.
2 little lines is not enough to be
I see.
thorough, so
Thank you, now I
I gave you 2 pages.
got it. Okay. So,
So we're gonna, you're gonna have that site plan in 9 days?
We'll try my best because your next meeting is September 3rd. And my neighbors already all know that we want to put up this nice big shed / garage. And nobody has a problem with it. So he just got back from vacation and he's going to help us in his best to get this site plan. I just need to know how many copies do you need?
It's on the application.
The 7 that I made from before?
It's
I think I made you guys. So you each need a copy
Of the site plan?
of the site plan, or you just need one?
I can, or do you have the full,
He's gonna
Full
give
size.
me the 24 by, what is it, 24 by 30 or something? And then he said he would email me, and then I would have to go down into Hopewell.
Get it printed.
And have the guy in Hopewell print it out for me. So,
if you could do 4 full size,
4
4
full-size
half.
ones. Okay. Let me write that down. So we're trying our best, you know,
absolutely.
we need it by August
Absolutely.
15th, so,
This is going where this little box is?
yeah.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to see, because there was a lot of different, she's a nice lady.
Yeah, she got it,
Yeah. Well, I didn't, you know, she walked outside with me. She had a nice time, you know. But, she brought me in the back, but I saw 2 buildings, 2 sheds. So I couldn't understand whether they were what you were adding on to, or you're building 2.
We're having a lot of space issues right now.
Okay, yeah,
We needed some storage, and they said that 10 by 12 sheds could be put up as long as they were behind the house. So that's hopefully going to be fairly temporary.
okay.
That was one issue. The garage, if you saw in the backyard where the wood pile is, pretty much where that wood pile is, it's going to be off the setbacks.
Okay.
Setback. We have setbacks from front of that, from the road and from the back. It'll meet all of those setbacks. It's just basically, we have a small house. And I have basically toys.
And you
Oh.
saw all that
So
today.
all my stuff out.
Yeah, I saw the quad, I saw the Winnebago, I saw, you got a lot of toys, yeah.
All the toys.
Truck's been riding out for how many years for being outside, so I'm sure we need a place to stick my tow vehicle, the camper,
Gotta clean the property up.
clean everything up.
Hide it at least, I guess, put it up, yeah.
Well, just put it to the side. so nobody
Yeah.
sees it.
And you're not gonna see it from the street, so. The
No.
only person who's gonna see it is us.
So the Winnebago, you're not building that to put the Winnebago in it?
Not in it, but I think the square footage
Just
goes
like
to
Jerry.
2 cars. Little sheds that come
Yeah,
So I'm making a motion to keeping this open
and then there's 2 sheds.
and adjourn the public.
yeah,
Did you open the public?
yeah, I see it right here, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Public
that can
comment?
fit underneath
Open it.
there.
You're gonna be able to fit that you're gonna get that all the way back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't rain the day you wanna do it, okay.
We had a lot of discussion.
All that,
before
it's gonna
we-
ruin your
Yeah,
yard.
yes.
That's why the building
That's
has
good,
to be
though.
so big.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the building is going to be off to the side, it's not even really going to take up.
So you're gonna bring it to that on the left-hand side of your house?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna drive it down, not where the driveway is?
No.
Okay, because I was like, well, how the heck are you gonna get that down?
No. It's gonna go
On the other
on
side?
the other side where the logs were that you saw.
Yeah,
So we can get the RV camper out of the driveway.
yeah.
Attachment you sent, last week, I gotta get that printed up,
All right, so
you know?
I'd like to make a motion to open this up for public comment. Do I have a second?
Second?
Aye.
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 All right. Not hearing anyone from the public, I would like to make a motion to keep the public comment open till the next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second.
Aye. Aye. All right, so we're going to keep public
Adjourn.
comment open till the next meeting and adjourn this for this evening, and that'll give you the opportunity to prepare the site plan and bring it back to us.
And that's all we need.
That's the only thing that I need to give you is the site plan.
believe that's it.
Do
That's
they-
all we were waiting on.
Whatever it says on that application, it's gotta conform to the application.
And that should be it, just number 5 is circled.
Where's the application? The instructions for
And that was it.
She did good, at least she remembered I was there.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, well, we didn't know if you were made up.
yeah, she asked me for a card, I'm like, they don't give us cards for the zoning. Aw,
You don't have
she
to-
seemed very sweet.
You don't have your...
I do, but it was in my, it was in the other car.
We actually have these.
We have a
handy-
name tag.
Number 3.
They're very fancy.
But she had, you know, I couldn't leave her
You're gonna
anything.
need number 3, the short
I didn't have a
form
pen and
EAF.
paper.
Number 3, short of it must be correct for all unlisted actions. Okay. Let's see.
Number 6, 3, 5, and 6.
Number 3, oh yes, number 3 I was just given today, and number 6 doesn't apply. It's a detached shed. I'm not remodeling anything.
It's a structure.
Concept floor plans and elevations of any new proposed or remodeled structures or... So this is like a prefab. It's not a stick built.
It's purchased and they come and put it on?
Yeah. So they don't give you any, what I submitted to you is what they gave to us until we purchase the building in full.
Right.
So I'm not gonna purchase $50,000 building if you're gonna tell me no, because it's non-refundable.
Right.
You have to put the dimensions of that structure on your site plan.
Right, yeah, so what I gave you is what I gave the engineer, because that's the only thing that the,
He's gotta show that
That-
and show the setbacks.
right,
Okay.
yeah. Unless you tell me yes today, then I can go pay the guy and then get you the plans, because he's not releasing the plans until he gets paid in full.
Yeah, totally understandable.
Yeah, so,
Okay,
When's the next meeting? When did you adjourn to September?
So we're adjourning to September 3rd.
Make a motion?
September 3rd,
That means you'd have to get your application in full in by April, August 15th.
August 15th, right, but you have everything already, so the only thing I'm gonna now give to you is the site plan and the
Setback, all of that.
The EAF.
short environmental form, which, and if I need help filling that out, the short environmental assessment form, who helps me with that?
You are gonna call down to Jess Peterson or Aletha Borg, down in the offices. Usually the.
Your engineer.
Yeah, your
The engineer.
site plan guy will, yeah.
Okay.
Make a
Sounds
motion
easy
to
breezy.
close this part?
Yeah. All right, so I'll make a motion to close this item on the agenda.
Second? Aye.
Aye.
Close the
Thank you, folks.
Now we're gonna.
So you know the Sullivans, I
Well, we have
guess?
one, are we going to vote on
Loved Tom.
the
He
change
was
to the
such
dates
a
for
nice man.
the modification for
We live in
November?
the house that he
Yeah.
grew up
We have to do that.
Just gotta,
on Clap Hill,
Yep.
yeah. And Cheryl's.
I was going to,
you the man. Yes, sir.
all right,
I know. I think Brianna still lives around here though, right? Yeah. And then you must know the Newharts. Do you know the Newharts?
We have the Bows, we have.
I know the Bows.
We're really
They're
catching
nice.
up.
You're working on 2 phones? That's bad.
So,
well, work, I have a work phone.
I know the Newharts live in like the white colonial on the other side of Andrews. And John, yes, Danielle.
Could I
Yes,
suggest that we pick this up next time?
Sorry.
No.
We just, don't leave, Linda, because we got one last.
One last test. Thank you, folks.
Sorry,
thank you very
sorry,
much.
just, you know,
Thank you very much.
It's
thought I'd
okay.
tell you hi.
All right, so the final item of business we have is the revision to our meeting date for November. So the current meeting dates were for the first Tuesday of the month, and the chosen date for November 2024 falls on Election Day. So we're proposing to change the meeting date from November 5th, from November 6th to November 5th. Current meeting date November 5th, proposed meeting date November 6th. So change the date from November 5th with a deadline of October 17th to November 6th with a deadline of October 17th. So just meeting the Wednesday instead of the Tuesday of that week. All right, so.
Got a second?
Second,
Roll call,
aye.
aye,
Aye.
unanimous.
We're in.
All right.
I'm
All right.
sorry, I didn't mean to be a
No,
pain in the
don't
neck
be.
about that, but that really,
Yeah, I get
that
it.
really stinks, that
It's a challenge.
because that, I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I don't agree with
All
that.
right, so I'm
I
gonna
felt terrible.
make a motion to close the meeting.
Second,
Aye.
yay.
Thanks,
Craig, thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Better.